Starting off the video at number 25, we have Twiggy, who had a season stat line of 484 kills, 464 deaths, 41 buttons, a 1.04 KD, and he reached the semifinals with a total team record of 14-3. And unfortunately, they got cheated on first round, and that kind of blew their whole playoff run up. But yeah, on to number 24. At number 24, we have AJ, who had a season stat line of 376 kills, 373 deaths, 30 buttons, and a 1.0 plus KD. He was on the Seattle Flames, who had a cancerous locker room, I'd say. Didn't go as far as everyone expected them to, but AJ had a solid season regardless. And yeah, on to number 23. At number 23, we have Fox, who had a season stat line of 522 kills, 536 deaths, 26 buttons, a .97 KD, and was a semifinalist in a loss to Long Beach. Not bad by any means. I think he's pretty overhated. Probably the third on Malibu this season, and very solid player. So yeah, on to number 22. At number 22, we have Fruit of Asia, the second on Malibu, who had a season stat line of 495 kills, 471 deaths, 40 buttons, a 1.05 KD, and was a semi-finalist in, again, a loss to Long Beach. Fruit was having a very good season early on, was a candidate for most improved, but fell off towards the end a little bit. So yeah, on to number 21. At number 21, we have KJ, who was on a Vatos team that went 0-2 in the playoffs. He ended the season with 500 kills, 496 deaths, 32 buttons, a 1.0 plus KD, and I think he had the best season on LA, considering Frozone didn't play a majority of the games. Him, Fruit, and our number 20 are pretty close, but yeah, on to number 20. At number 20, we have Chandler, or CDSZ, who had 393 kills, 365 deaths, 33 buttons, and a 1.07 KD. Another Seattle Flame who had a pretty controversial season, was blamed for some of the problems on that team, but he didn't have a clip, so I just made this slide. And yeah, pretty solid season, other than that 8 kill performance he had one game. And on to number 19. At number 19, we have myself with 376 kills, 406 deaths, a .92 KD, 11 buttons, and I was a finalist / runner-up for the Kentucky Cardinals. Missing a good amount of games this season, went on a 1-month trip, you know, came back and played really well in the playoffs. I'm happy with the spot, and yeah.
Known for pick, and maybe for Rudo there, one of the, honestly, maybe the second right now on this team. Twiggy and Thunder not holding up. Rudo's gonna find Platt again, and it's down to 3 on 4.
Dude, Rudo is
Coffee's just not looking at anything. What is he doing? Rudo's got 3, and that's
Rudo
another 3.
again.
Can he find 4? Trapped in a corner. Rudo's got 7 in the last 2 rounds, and it's an ace, and it's flawless for Rudo, and it's 7-4. The lead is 3. And Arizona.
At number 18, we have AZ, who had 277 kills, 300 deaths, 27 buttons, and a 0.92 kill-death ratio. He was on the West Covina Wombats, who missed the playoffs, the second man on that team, and pretty down season by his standards. I think he could arguably be above number 17, but I think this is a good spot for him, and a very good player. So yeah, on number 17. At number 17, we have Frozone, who got off to a hot start this season, but fell off a little bit and missed a good amount of games. He had 341 kills, 324 deaths, 9 buttons, and a 1.05 KD. Went 0-2 in the playoffs, and on to number 16. At number 16, we have Arctic, who had 526 kills, 470 deaths, 23 buttons, a 1.12 KD, and was a finalist / runner-up on the Kentucky Cardinals, who I think Arctic's a very overhated player. I think he's very good and gets a lot of unwarranted slander. So with that, on to the next one. At number 15, we have Cheeto, who ended the season with 453 kills, 421 deaths, 28 buttons, and a 1.07 KD. and unfortunately they went 0-2 in the playoffs. Chichito is arguably the best controller player. He is one of, I think, 2 controller players on this list, and there's one above him. So yeah, on to the next one. At number 14, we have Thunder, the second man of the year, who had 525 kills, 426 deaths, 42 buttons, a 1.23 KD, and was a semi-finalist on the Arizona Angels. Gets a lot of camping allegations and selling allegations, but I think he's very solid. At number 13, we have Woke Kyle, a fellow Whale Boy, who ended the season with 455 kills, 450 deaths, 30 buttons, and a 1.01 KD on the Manchester Magic. Once again, 0-2 in the playoffs. And yeah, this is the other controller player in the list. Probably the best one in my opinion. And yeah, on to number 12. At number 12, we have I Died, who had 479 kills, 405 deaths, 39 buttons, and a 1.18 KD. Mr. E was mainly playing support for him, so I Died could just frag out on Seattle. And yeah, once again, disappointing season. I Died was blamed for a large amount of those problems. And yeah, on to number 11. At number 11, we have Sean Khalifa, who was on the Compton Cavaliers. He ended with 548 kills, 433 deaths, 29 buttons, and a 1.26 KD. Sean had a very good playoff run, dropping 72 against Long Beach for a loss. Went 1-2 in the playoffs. And yeah, I think that skyrocketed his rating for me. At number 10, we have Aqua Panda, the first in the top 10. He had 531 kills, 472 deaths, 46 buttons, and a 1.12 KD on the Compton Cavaliers, who, again, another Compton Cavalier, went 1-2 in the playoffs. I think Panda is better than his, former co-partner Sean. I think he didn't have a great playoff run, but he had a big jump from last season to this season, a great regular season. Was on my All-Star ballot, so yeah, on to number 9. At number 9, we have Jaden, who had 463 kills, 408 deaths, 15 buttons, and a 1.13 KD. Arguably had the best season on Philadelphia, a team that was supposed to be a chip contender and missed the playoffs. Mainly because their star player had a little bit of a fall off, and their third option, who they picked in the first round, didn't really play any games and wasn't as good as he was expected to be. At number 8, we have Gast, who had 504 kills, 489 deaths, 18 buttons, and a 1.03 KD, who was a MVP candidate early on in the season, but had a little bit of a fall off towards the end and didn't play too well in the playoffs, but he's one of the more aggressive players in the league. His style of play is very hard to have good stats, and he still has a positive KD, so yeah, that speaks for itself. At number 7, we have Aquabug, who had 413 kills, 391 deaths, 9 buttons, a 1.06 KD on the Philadelphia Knights, who missed the playoffs. Bug is a franchise player who had a pretty rough season. I think he had a little fall off here. But yeah, on to number 6. At number 6, we have arguably the GOAT of MPL, who had 410 kills this season, 389 deaths, 32 buttons, and a 1.05 KD. The reason he's this high isn't really because of his skill, it's because of his tier 1 brain. Probably the smartest player in the league, or one of. Trying to keep that shitty locker room together was a big struggle for him this season. Pretty disappointing season as a team, but didn't have great stats, but he was mainly playing support for I Died. So yeah, on to number 5. At number 5, we have probably the MVP for this season, Fuki. 849 kills, 477 deaths, 18 buttons, a 1.77 KD. He won the ring, and yeah, as I said, MVP. Very controversial ring. They didn't play like normal people, played pretty weird and cringe, but still won nonetheless, still put up fucking otherworldly numbers, so he has to be this high, and yeah. At number 4, we have Abstract, who ended the season with 645 kills, 569 deaths, 61 buttons, and a 1.13 KD. He was a finalist / runner-up on the Kentucky Cardinals. At number 3, we have Infamous, a fellow whale boy, who was 547 kills, 375 deaths, 16 buttons, and a 1.46 KD on a Wombats team that just ever so slightly missed the playoffs. Infamous played like an MVP after being down 0-5 win-loss record, and he almost brought them to the playoffs. I think if he gets them to the 7th seed or above, he's probably my MVP. But yeah, on to number 2. At number 2, we have Rice, who had 707 kills, 440 deaths, 29 buttons, and a 1.60 KD. He was a semifinalist for the Malibu Dolphins and the MVP runner-up, in my opinion. I think that team is fucking terrible without him, and he had a very good season, MVP caliber, obviously. And yeah, on to number 1. Number 1, we have Platt, who had 686 kills, 441 deaths, 49 buttons, a 1.55 KD, and was a semifinalist for the Arizona Angels. And in my opinion, he's the undisputed GOAT of MPL. And yeah, had a pretty good season. Playoff run got off to a rocky start with some cheaters. Brought it back though, made the semifinals. And yeah, I think that that concludes my video here. And yeah, thanks for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, and peace.